Good morning. We are going to be looking at compound subjects and predicates in language arts today. And you will be needing this packet. This is the next page that we are working on in this packet. So we only need this top page here with all the little dotted line boxes around. It says compound subjects and compound predicates up on top and also on the bottom. So you can take this off the packet. Just be careful because the next page in this packet is a little tiny sheet of paper and we want to make sure that stays clipped together. So be careful when you're taking the compound subjects and predicates page out of that packet. Okay, so you are going to be cutting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things out of this page. And I'm going to show you. So I will start at the top. You're going to cut this little box out all the way around the outside, just like this. And we're eventually going to be making a little flip book with these boxes on this page. So you'll see that they gradually get bigger as you go across the page. So this would be the top page of this flip book that we're making. And then the next page would be down here, over here. So all the little boxes that you see on this page, you are going to be cutting all the way around the outside and including the extra tab that's up at the top, because these are how you're going to attach all the different pages together. So this is just working with compound subjects, this page is. We're going to do some other notes here with compound predicates. Okay, so I have all 4 of those boxes cut out. And eventually, we're not going to do anything with them yet, but I'll show you how they will be assembled. You're going to put them in order with the smallest box up on top, and you're going to keep layering them or stacking them so that the biggest box ends up at the bottom. And we'll have a little flip book like this. Then your title is actually given to you, and you have the choice. If you want to cut this compound subjects and compound predicates out and use that as your title, you can glue it at the top of the page where we would normally write our title. You are more than welcome to do that, or you can write it. That's totally fine too, if that's what you're used to. But you do need the sentence down at the bottom. This is Tori reads nightly. Just like that. Okay, and then those are all the parts that you should have cut out of that page. Now let's assemble them in the next available page in our composition notebook. So I'm going to glue the title that they gave to me. Just move these up to the side here. I'm going to glue the title that they gave to me on the page onto my page as my title, just because it's look different and he gave it to me. So I'm just going to put a strip of glue here. Hopefully that dries by the time we close this. I'm going to use this as my title. So compound subjects and compound predicates is going to be our title. Then you are going to put the sentence, Tori reads nightly, just under your title page, whether you're writing it or cutting it out and gluing it in. Tori reads nightly. So our examples that we're going to be building off of are going to build off of this sentence here. So that's why we need it. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take the little flip book that you may have already assembled. You didn't have to yet. But I'm going to take the biggest page first. It actually has S plus S plus S plus S plus P. So it has 4 S's at the bottom. That's the biggest box that we cut out. This is the only one that I'm going to glue the entire back of it down. Just because this is the bottom, this is the base, so we're going to attach it to the page. So you can put glue all on the back side, just like this, and stick it on your page. Then the next biggest, you are only going to glue on the back of this little strip that was on the front. And you're going to attach it to this box here, right where these strips line up. Just like this. So you have a little flip page. And then you're going to take the next box, which has 2 S's at the bottom. You're going to do the same thing. Just glue the back of that top strip onto the front or the top of that page, or that little box. And then the last one is going to have compound subjects on it, the smallest box. Do some glue on the back of that strip and glue it all the way down. Okay, then that page is done. All right, so let's take some notes on it now. So compound subjects, you have already learned that the subject of a sentence is who or what the sentence is about. So it's not just any old noun in the sentence, it's who or what is doing the action in that sentence, or what is the main person, thing, event, idea that is completing the action in this sentence. So we have the word compound in front of it this time, which means something a little different, but it's still basically the same concept. So, on the top of this page, we glued a sentence in that says, Tori reads nightly. Let's look at that sentence up on top. What would be the subject in that sentence? And remember, if you look in the page before this, we labeled SS and SP up at the top for simple subject, simple predicate, and that's just what is the subject and the predicate. Nothing else attached to it. In Tori reads nightly, Tori would be our simple subject, and reads would be our simple predicate. But now that we are looking at compound subjects and compound predicates, compound means more than one, or 2 or more. Just means multiple. So that means that we're going to have multiple subjects or multiple predicates in our sentences. So underneath the compound subjects flap, this top one here, on that flap, I'm going to have you write contains 2 or more simple subjects with the same predicate. So that means the predicate stays the same. There's still only one predicate in the sentence, but more than one subject is using that predicate or that action in the sentence. Okay? So now you are going to flip to the next tab in this page that says S plus P. And if you have to fold this top flap a little bit right where you glued it, you may have to do that in order to write. But we're going to write underneath the compound subjects tab here. And we're going to build off of Tori reads nightly and add subjects as we go down. So I'm going to have you write Tori and Jen read nightly. This box had S plus P, and now have Tori, who was our original subject. So S plus S, another subject, Jen, plus P, read. We now have compound subjects. We have more than one subject doing the same predicate or the same action. So now you can probably assume what we're going to be doing on the next flap. We're going to add another subject to our sentence here. So we're going to have Tori, Jen, and Riley read nightly. So now we have S plus S plus S plus P, S plus S plus S plus P. Tori, Jen, and Riley are our subjects, and they're all sharing the same predicate of read. Okay. And then the last one, we have to have 4 subjects in our sentence. So I'm going to have to fold that top flap to write it down. We're going to have Tori Jen, Riley, and Brad read nightly. Okay, so now we have 4 subjects, compound subject, S plus S plus S plus S plus P. Subject, 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 subject. Now you may not always see them listed as each individual subject. You may see them all combined into one word. So another way that I could say this, instead of saying Tori, Jen, Riley, and Brad read nightly, could be they read nightly. Now they is only one word, but you're saying there's more than one person that is reading nightly. They read nightly. So you can assume that that's a compound subject, even though it's only one word written down. So it could be kind of tricky. It may just look like Tori reads nightly. They read nightly. But that would still be considered a compound subject. Okay, now compound predicate, you can probably assume that compound predicates contain one or more predicates. So now the same subject stays in each sentence, but they're doing more than one thing. Okay, so now on the back side of this page, we're going to write compound predicate up on top. For you. Okay, then compound predicates contain 2 or more simple predicates that have the same subject. So almost identical of a definition as compound subject. But now it's just flip-flopping. Instead of more than one subject, we have more than one predicate this time. Okay, so we're going to use the example again. Tori reads nightly. So that's our base. We have our subject, our simple subject, and our simple predicate up above there. Now, if we had to add one more predicate to our sentence here, we're going to have S plus P plus P. We could have Tori reads and studies nightly. Okay, so now S plus P plus P, subject plus predicate plus predicate. We have 2 actions or 2 predicates going on. Subject reads and studies. So predicate, predicate. They read and study. Next level, and I'm kind of just going off of the pattern that we had in the foldables on the previous page. S plus P plus P plus P. We're going to add a 3rd predicate. Tori reads, studies, and practices nightly. So Tori reads, studies, and practices nightly. Now I should have 1 subject, which is Tori, and 3 predicates. Reads, studies, and practices. Okay, so that would be a compound predicate with 3 predicates going on. And just like on the compound subjects page, we end up getting up to 4 subjects. So we're going to get up to 4 predicates in this example here. So now we have S plus P plus P plus P plus P. Tori reads, studies, practices, and exercises nightly. So she's busy at night. She, subject Tori, reads, studies, practices, and exercises nightly. Okay, so now we have 4 predicates going on, compound predicate taking place in that sentence. There isn't necessarily an easier way to combine all of them, like there was for the compound subjects, where I said they read nightly. Here, we can't really combine all these into one word, so you probably will see these more likely than not all listed out just like this, because there's not a pronoun that you can use to combine multiple verbs going on. Okay. Now you are going to be given a link to a Google form attached to this assignment on Google Classroom. This form is going to have you either tell what's going on in the sentence. Either is there a compound subject in the sentence, a compound predicate in the sentence, or both. Now, you may find that some of the sentences on there have both a compound subject and a compound predicate going on, which means that there's more than one subject doing more than one action, or having something to do more than one of in the sentence. So if that's the case, you would click both. Okay. Now, if you need to go back and watch part of this video to copy down the notes again, please do so. Here, I will zoom out a little bit just so you can see all of the notes right here. You can pause it on this and copy these down all the way. Otherwise, I will, you can always go back to the video or earlier in the video for the compound subjects page, which is the flaps on the front. Just make sure that you fill out your table of contents as you are working on this here. So I have pages 13 and 14. Let me just double check. Yep, 13 and 14. Compound subjects and compound predicates. Even though my title on the first page says compound subjects and predicates, it really only talked about subjects. I'm just going to write subjects because I ran out of room, and I know that compound predicates is the next page. Okay,